Welcome to cbuzz, an award-winning podcast presented by the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. We are proudly recognized as Columbus's very first business-focused podcast, and we are so excited to bring you this show in partnership with Capital University. I'm Michaela Hunt, your host and brand journalist for cbuzz, where we dive right into the compelling stories of the leaders who are shaping Central Ohio's vibrant business community. Today, we are inside the Convergent Media Center at Capital, which is really a dynamic space where students and faculty collaborate on music, film, creative writing, and digital media projects. We're excited to share these incredible stories with you from this innovative hub. And we want to welcome our guest, Lizendra Danforth, the founder of Konfetti Carts today. Now, if you've seen these carts around Columbus, you know they are not your average ice cream setup. Konfetti Carts brings handcrafted flavors, gorgeous presentation, and a really fun, elevated vibe to weddings, corporate events, and all kinds of celebrations. Lizendra has more than 20 years of event planning experience through Studio D meetings and events, and she launched Konfetti Carts as a way to bring something fresh, interactive, and memorable to the party scene. Lizendra, welcome to cbuzz.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, I'm excited to dig into your entrepreneurial journey, your creativity, and really the way you're changing experiences for people in the Central Ohio area. And she's got her pearls on. There's a flair to it.
Love the pearls. Always. That's my signature.
Is that your signature?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
We took off the bracelets because we thought they would clink.
Right.
But she's got the bracelets on too. So I just mentioned that you have spent over 20 years in the event planning industry. What inspired you to take that experience and create something like Konfetti Carts?
Well, I'll tell you, we have, being in the industry for over 20 years, it's most of my latter part of my experience have been in meeting planning. And so as a meeting planner, I'm always looking for that wow factor, right? Like, how do we make these meetings that's not the glitz and glamour of weddings and, you know, those social events, but how do we make those corporate events have that wow factor instead of it just being a tray of cookies when they come out of a conference room, right? Like, can we have something elevated? What kind of activation or experience can we do? And so in planning for a client, I was, brainstorming of what we can do and thought of this ice cream experience, and Konfetti Carts was born, and it created a whole business.
So if an individual listening has not seen the Konfetti Carts yet,
yes,
bring us into the visual experience. What is the experience? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Talk to us about that.
Yes, absolutely. So Konfetti Carts, we brand it as an ice cream catering company. And so a luxury, let me be very clear, a luxury ice cream catering company. And so it's an experience. And so we do that by intentionally, all of our carts are all white. And you can change the umbrella colors out to match the aesthetics of your event. And so being a meeting planner, I created the company with that with that in mind. So for our brides and our social events, they can put their monogram on the front of the cart. For our corporate events, the companies can put their logo on the front of the cart, and we can brand it in their brand colors. We were very intentional about making the cart a part of their event. And so our ice cream carts can hold up to 4 flavors of ice cream, which is a large number of options for guests when they're at an event.
Yes, it is.
And so then we have some elevated things that you can do. So we call these our specialty bars. So we have a cookies and cream bar, which we get our cookies from a local baker in town, and they're like mini Pazookies with the deep dish cookies and ice cream. We have our root beer float bar. We have a affogato bar, which is our vanilla bean ice cream, and we pour espresso on top. And then if you're looking for something a little fun and spicy, we have our sorbet sparkle bar, which is our raspberry or lemon sorbet. We serve it in martini glasses and pour champagne on top.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a whole fun experience. We can make it as elevated as you want.
That is fancy.
Yes.
When it comes to the sorbet.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, why ice cream? I'm curious. There's a lot of different cart concepts out there. There's probably a lot that you could elevate. Why ice cream?
So our slogan or tagline, I would say, is we bring joy. And so when you think of ice cream, that's exactly what it does. And sometimes it's seen as something fun or casual or sometimes kid-like, but we took on the challenge of making it elevated. And so you can have ice cream, those things that is exciting and make people talk, or when people walk up to our carts, they're like, oh my gosh, you have ice cream, right? And so what we can do that in an elevated way to where it's a full engagement with our clients or with the guest.
You already had this successful business with Studio D meetings and events. What made you want to build a sister company instead of expanding what you already had?
So with Studio D, it is a destination meeting planning company. So we take our clients wherever they want to go. And that's where we focus on full service event planning and strategy on that side. And so as I mentioned earlier, we're always looking for that wow factor. How do we do something different that our clients haven't seen? And so my family and I moved here to Columbus 2.5 years ago, and I wanted to continue to do events in the city, but how do we do that to where we can engage with other planners, other venues here in the city? And so once Konfetti Carts was born, it's like, this is a great way that it can be an extension of Studio D, right? And so this is a way for us to engage here in Columbus with other planners and say, this is something that we can partner with you to offer to your clients. We can partner with venues in town and say, hey, you can offer Konfetti Carts as an upsell to your clients. If you're thinking of how do we create something different, we want the city to think of us.
And so you're not exclusive to your own other brand. You're able to be an extension for many other brands.
100%. 100%. We love to partner. That's the key word here that we are often saying to other people that we get to collaborate with and other businesses is that we're a partner with you. And so whatever events that you're planning, Konfetti Carts can add that signature touch to your event that you've been looking for.
Starting something new always comes with a risk. This is a really interesting way to do it based on what you just explained to us about creating an extension of yourself, but also offering it to others like you, which I love that. Not everybody would think to do that. But with risk, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced when launching Konfetti Carts?
So as I mentioned earlier, when you think of ice cream, this was a big challenge, really. When you think of ice cream, you think of fun with your family or summer. Taking your kids to the ice cream shop, right?
We go all the time.
All the time,
all the
right?
time.
And so that's what you think of. And so our initial challenge was thinking, how do we make Konfetti Carts the way that we're envisioning it, right? Where it's an elevated ice cream experience. How do we remove the known feeling that ice cream is just fun and casual, right? But be able to market to corporate groups to say this is an elevating experience. It's not just ice cream, it is an experience.
So that was the risk.
That was the risk. How do we reach out to corporate groups and just say we're not just serving ice cream, we're not just rolling in a scoop of vanilla, right? Like you can add the champagne with a martini glass. You can elevate it and have an affogato, right? You can brand the carts if you're doing a sponsorship for other things, and you can put it, we can customize your cups and customize the napkins, and how do we make it an activation?
So how did you mitigate that risk? Did you have really good materials that explain this to corporate clients?
Yes. So we started from the beginning. We were like, our branding, our language from the very beginning has to say that we're a luxury, elevated ice cream company. We had to make sure that our branding and our front-facing language that we put out to our clients when we're talking to people on social media, on our website, that we eliminated the idea that it was cute. Right? That this is something that we're bringing, something that you need, right? We actually, when we're talking to our clients, our question is, how can we help you? What's your vision for your event? So that they automatically know that this is customizable and not just a cute cart.
So you've definitely operationalized this. That is something that is coming into my mind when we're talking about this. How do you do that? Is it about having elevated moments, but also a limited number of choices, which, 8 is not a limited number when I think about umbrellas, yes. But you have so many choices in each category, I feel like, that might make it easy to operationalize.
Yes, absolutely. So again, we always ask our clients when we're talking, we very rarely confirm a client over email or telephone. Email. We want to get on the telephone with them and to ask those key questions of what's your vision? How do you want your guests to feel when they leave? We're asking those questions is what's the feeling that you want to have? What's the aesthetics of the event? We're asking all those things. And sometimes it's a kid party and we're like, we want it to be fun, right? And sometimes it's a wedding where they want it to be very special and magical and they want their guests to say, wow, when they walk away, right? Or sometimes it's our corporate clients and they're like, no, we want to push, let everyone know that we're the sponsor for this. We want everyone to know that we have walk away with our branding. So we brand their cups with their logo or their QR code. So while they're standing around the high top table, they're having conversations, but also seeing the logos on everything. Right. Mm-hmm. And so we've been very intentional with asking our clients, how do we help you reach your goals with this ice cream cart? And when you make your service about your customer. So what we want our clients to do is feel like everything's customizable. So we are honing in on what their vision is for their event, the look, the feel, all the things. And so having these elements in these different categories allow them to customize their experience so they feel it is specifically for them. It's not cookie cutter, right? Like we're not just delivering in a blank ice cream cart that looks like everything else. Each experience is customized to the client.
You do serve a wide range of audiences, and I think that's the part about tailoring this that is so interesting within the questions you ask and what you have. What if clients taught you about the whole experience you created, and what's been some of the feedback and what unexpected wins help shape the business?
So it's really remembering our why, right? And so when we go to a wedding and you see the bride that's like, oh, ice cream is my fiance and I's favorite thing. And you see the expression on their faces and they want to take pictures with it. And our ice cream is in their wedding photos forever. That's our why, right? Like we're remembering, like this is why we do it, is for those magical moments.
20 years later,
Konfetti Carts is in the picture.
Yeah.
Right? Or the 5-year-old birthday party who has the ice cream now all smeared on their faces and their mom wants to get that cute moment. That's our why. We want to be a part of those special moments. Right. And even when our corporate clients, when they're, very focused on the business at hand, but when they're all standing around a high top table and they're enjoying our brown butter Berber ice cream, or, they're like, oh, we saw you all at another event and I can't wait to taste that tipsy peach. It's like, do you have the strawberry cheesecake this time? It's like just people expecting our flavors and looking forward to seeing us there. That's our why. And so we look forward to building more relationships and getting Columbus to know more about Konfetti Carts.
You've built your career around creating unforgettable experiences.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you for yourself first, what's been one of your most memorable events or moments that made you think, this is exactly why I started this?
So if I'm thinking, I've started my career in weddings and very quickly moved into corporate because it was easier.
I've heard that before from wedding planners, yes.
It's easier. I honestly still get Christmas cards from some of my brides, many years ago.
That's lovely.
They've were just jewels of people. But corporate's a little bit more transactional, and so it's being a part opening Konfetti Carts, it kind of brings that magical moment back that weddings did, where you're seeing the expressions on people's faces, as I alluded to earlier. And it's having those bride. I actually just saw one of my brides, honestly, in the Kroger the other day. And she walked up to me and she was like, hi, do you remember me? I was like, of course, and we talked and she hugged. And her friend was like, do you know her? And she's like, yes, she did my ice cream for my wedding. And the bridesmaid, who was her best friend, was like, oh, yes, I remember we had the this and we had the that, or I love the raspberry sorbet. And it's those moments, right? When you're just walking in the Kroger and someone said, you made a difference, right? Like I remember you being a part of my special day, and now I'm forever a part of their special day. As you were saying earlier, 20 years later, when Konfetti Carts is in the picture, it's those moments that it's just casually walking in the Kroger, right? And or walking down the street or whatever, and someone recognizes you and was like, you made me feel this way.
What do you think people are really looking for when they invest in an elevated event experience today? What is it they're really trying to get after, do you think?
I think intentionality, right? Like there's so many things that you can get very quick these days.
That's the culture we live in.
It's the culture we live in. And so people are really looking for intentionality. And so that's how we design Konfetti Carts. And so people are looking for those things that you actually took time to curate, those curated experiences, something that when people walk away, they walk away thinking you left them with something, right? One of the things that I often tell my team when I'm training and even when I'm speaking at conferences, I say this all the time, is that people may not remember every detail of the event, but they always remember how you made them feel. And I'll say that one more time for those that are listening. Get your pen and write that down. For business owners, for event planners, for everyone that's listening out there, they may not always remember the details, all the parts of the events, but they always remember how you make them feel. And so that's our purpose with Studio D and definitely for Konfetti Carts is that we want people to walk away feeling like, that was so good. They don't read.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Yes, absolutely.
For business owners that are listening, what do you think are 3 things they can do to create a more memorable and differentiated experience for their customers?
I'm going to use that word intentionality again. I would say you need to be intentional, regardless of what your industry is. You need to think about your customer base, right? And be intentional about your planning. It's not necessarily, in my opinion, always about the dollar, which we all are doing this for money. This isn't a hobby, right? Like we're doing this to make a living and, that sort of thing, to take care of our families. But when you're intentional about your service, you're thinking about how your service supplies a need or fills a need, right? If it's marketing or if it's basket weaving or jewelry making or whatever it is, when you're thinking about the customer and how you're solving a problem. And if you're a jewelry maker, it may be that jewelry piece that goes with that perfect dress, right? But you're thinking about that ahead of time. Being intentional brings your customers to be repeat clients. And people know that, right? When you are not just making a transaction. And so I think if you're being intentional, one, that you're also forward thinking, right? Of how do I keep my clients coming back to me? And then thirdly, I would also say creating a brand that outlives the original idea.
Oh, yes. How does that happen, do you think?
I think it really just comes for you being forward thinking. It's like we all want something different. And so if you're creating a brand that outlives the original idea, then you're taking yourself out of the box, right? What does everyone need? We live in a microwave society, right? And so a lot of times people are on to the next thing. So how am I creating something that's allowing the people to continuously come back? But they're saying, I remember that brand. I remember that service. And they are telling their friends about it, And so when you start thinking about the customer base and not this right now transaction, it creates this long lasting business.
I, more than anybody, love butterflies and whimsy. And that is what you are bringing today.
Yes.
But tell me how you balance creativity with the operational side of running a business. So we talked about choices and questions to get to the choices that you have. What other things do you do to balance all these ideas that you have with the operational side of things? How do you limit yourself on flavors? How do you limit to 8 umbrellas, right? Like how do you do all that? Because I'd be so excited and want to do everything.
So I will say that honestly, the structure helps the creativity. And so what I mean by that is that when you have systems in place and your structure, you have processes. Once you have those things lined up, that gives you space for creativity. And so what I mean by that is that I have a formula for how we interact with our clients.
Oh.
And so we have from start to finish what the guest experience is, what's the buying process is. And so once we have that nailed down, we're not all over the place. Like, we're not scattered. We know exactly how our clients are going from the time that they do their inquiry to us until the time that their event happens. And even after the event, the thank you note that they get after the event, like all of that is a process and in our systems. So then that gives us the space to be creative, right? And so now of course, you're thinking about cost and all those sorts of things, but what are we offering to our clients that's, like I said earlier, that's outside the original idea?
How did you research this before you put together the process? It could be simple or complicated, but I'm just curious how you researched this.
So when I came up with the idea, it was being in a city that has 4 seasons, right? It was really challenging, okay, will this work in Columbus? Right? Because my family and I moved here from Florida where it's warm 10 months out of the year, right? And so now we're in a city where you get 13 inches of snow just because.
Welcome to Ohio. Yeah.
Welcome to Ohio. So I really did my research on who was my competitors. Right. And then thinking, how do we create this is not a seasonal product? And so we designed the cart to be indoors. So if it's a summer event, we can be indoors or outdoors. But if it's a winter holiday party, we can have our affogato bar because the cart rolls inside, right? And we designed it to be a part of the event indoors where your guest don't have to go outside like a food truck, right?
Right.
And so we did our research on who our competitors are, but then also how do we create something that's lasting, right? We didn't want a seasonal product where it's like, oh, it's ice cream and it's December. I don't want that. Our clients is like, oh, it's December. She can have it indoors and we can have affogato.
Right.
Right?
Warm it up with some of that espresso.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we were thinking out of the box. How do we create something that is lasting, that's beyond the original idea? This goes back to what I was stating earlier. The original idea was ice cream. But how do we create something outside of the original idea to reach the masses, right? Regardless of the age. If they're a party for a 1-year-old or a happy birthday party for a 99-year-old, all in between.
How do you track? You said you were talking a little bit about process before this. How do you track the process? Do you have a software you like? Did you come up with your own process to track it? Like, what do you use and what do you do?
We do. So full transparency, starting this, when you're starting a new business, you do not have an influx of funds.
You don't?
Right?
Nope.
So we started with Excel spreadsheets, right? That's how we started. And it was in our inquiry forms, we ask, how did you hear about us? So we can notate the marketing, right? Where we're spending our marketing dollars. And we notated that in an Excel spreadsheet. Right. It's a good drop down is your best friend, right? It's like, and so now we've moved to a full operating system using HoneyBook.
HoneyBook, okay.
Yes. And so all of our forms are through there. That's their client portal that our clients use. And so they're able to they can email us through that. They can get their contracts. They make their payments through it. Their thank you note comes through there.
So the back end data that you get from that is so useful and you're able to track projects that way.
100%.
I love it.
Yes.
Columbus has become a vibrant city for events and small businesses. We see it all the time. What has it been like building and growing a brand like Konfetti Carts in this market instead of building it in Florida? I'm curious.
Yes. So we absolutely love Columbus. Columbus is an incredible city. It is growing by leaps and bounds. It is it's not really what you consider a tourist city like the DCs or the Atlanta or Las Vegas or that sort of thing, but it is a hidden, beautiful gem, right? And so there's a lot of...
Thank you. Yes, it's amazing.
It is. We love it. And so, you have all these conferences and meetings that are here. You have all these major corporations that are here in the city, which is who our target client is.
Right.
And so building Konfetti Carts really just opened the door for us to be a part of all the event type of industries, from the social events to the on the corporate side, because the city just has so many incredible things, from concerts and things in the parks. And Columbus, when it's warm, they like to be outside.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And so we want to be outside with all of Columbus. So it's been great. And one additional thing that I would like to say about Columbus that we found coming from another city is that it is so supportive of small businesses. And so if you're wanting to start a business, there's so many resources here in the city that they are wanting to help you grow. And so being in a new city where we knew no one when we moved here 2.5 years ago, the city welcomed my family and I so much, and then welcomed me as a new business owner and say, this is how we can connect you with other people. You should know this person. Let's set up coffee and have this person talk to you.
And is that how you connected with the chamber?
100%. 100%. And they were very happy to say, let me introduce you to this person, and let's grab coffee or let's grab lunch. And so being welcomed that way, I will talk about Columbus hands down, because we've lived in a lot of different cities, and Columbus is so welcoming.
Looking ahead, what is next for Konfetti Carts? Are there new experiences, offerings, or expansions that you're excited about? Because girl, you've got this down at this point with your options and the questions you asked to get there, the little choose your own adventure situation.
Yes.
But what's coming next? How do you enhance it even more?
So one of the things that we're very excited about is that we did a soft launch already, but we're really doing a full launch of what we're calling our Konfetti Kids line. And so with Konfetti Kids, they have their own curated menu. And so we're doing fun things like cotton candy and birthday cake ice cream. And they can have root beer floats or special toppings like the gummy bears and sprinkles and those sorts of things.
I love that.
So working with being that go-to dessert option for kid birthday parties. We're working with schools and summer camps and those sorts of things. So we're very excited about this new Konfetti Kids line, which also has a birthday club option where they receive a little sweet treat from us on their birthdays. And so we're really looking to expand to our younger audience, I should say, with our Konfetti Kids line. It's exciting.
For someone who has an idea but hasn't taken the leap yet, what advice would you give them?
Just do it. I know that's the Nike tagline, right? It's like, but I say all the time that if you don't take the leap, sometimes your ideas just remain in that notebook.
Oh, so true.
And so you should just do it. And sometimes just doing it means just registering your name, looking to see if the name that you want your business is available. Take that step to register with the state. Take that step to do your research to see who your target audience is going to be or who your competitors are. Just do it. Take that step to find out how much would it cost to start that business, right? Or to buy the products or to get the materials or to get that building, right? Just do it. It's like if you don't take that first step, you'll never know how great you will be.
If you never take that first step, you don't know how great you'll be.
Absolutely.
And people might not remember the event details, but they'll remember how the event made them feel.
100%.
That's going to stick with me beyond this podcast, I'll tell you what. One of the reasons we have conversations like this, Lizendra, is because we love to hear what is inspiring you and what is making you grow. I would love to know if there is a podcast, a group, a show, a book that lately has been inspiring you and getting you to think more even out of the box.
Yes, absolutely. So one of my new favorite books is Rachel Rogers. She wrote a book called We Should All Be Millionaires. And it's not what you think, really. She does teach you how to build your business in a smart financial way. But she really it's a book of support of how, as a female business owner, how you should position yourself before you, quote unquote, make it, right? If it's taking a few extra minutes or a few extra dollars and outsourcing the laundry, right? Or outsourcing your house being cleaned. How does that give you more time to focus on your business, right? And so one of the groups that I meet with is really an organic group of ladies that I met really at the Columbus Chamber. And we started talking. And, when you're at these events, you're like, oh, we should get together. One day we pulled out our phones and said, we're doing lunch. Let's just all do it now. And so we meet honestly like once a month. The ladies and I just get together and we just chat about what's happening now. How can I support you? What do you need? Who can I connect you with? What's your wins? What things that you need help with? And so when we're talking, I just presented this book to them. And I was like, ladies, this is not a book club, but this is just something that you need to read in your spare time, or pull up the Kindle and, listen to it in the car, however you need to. But this is a book that I would highly recommend, that whether you're starting a business, you have an idea for a business, you've been in business for 10 years, that Rachel Rogers book is something I would highly recommend that people read.
You are the second interview this season that has mentioned an organic group of women.
Oh, it's
getting
vital.
together to really be your sounding board.
Yes.
Or your advisory board. They're officially not, but organically they are.
100%.
And I love that's happening. And of course, Columbus would make that happen.
Absolutely.
Lizendra, what a pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you today. Thank you for spending some time on cbuzz.
Thank you for having me.
So we're really curious how you continue to grow. So we'll be watching you.
Yes, thank you.
If those are listening are curious about learning more about Konfetti Carts, go to confetticarts.com. That's confetti with a K.
Yes, that's right.
Confetticarts.com. And they can elevate your next event. We really encourage you to connect with Lizendra and explore their services. If you enjoyed today's episode, we would be so grateful if you could take a moment to rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps others discover our show and make sure we keep delivering the stories that matter most to Central Ohio. cbuzz is brought to you in collaboration with Capital University. We're so appreciative of their talented students, faculty, and staff for their invaluable support. They bring this podcast to life. Truly, they do. I'm Michaela Hunt, your host for cbuzz, the Columbus Chamber of Commerce's premier business podcast. We're already working on more inspiring stories for our next episode. We'll talk with you then.